All right, well, welcome back to another episode of the New Agent Podcast. We are joined with Erica Smelser of the McAfee Home Group. Erica, how are you doing today?
Very good. Very nervous.
Finally get somebody on the team. Well, I guess Jake did it, but finally get Erica on the hot seat here. She's had a killer 6 months, absolutely crushing the game. So, Erica, where'd you grow up? You know, this is the first time on the pod, so I always like to introduce people, let them know where you're from, how you got into real estate, all those things.
Okay, so I grew up here, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Tried to leave one time. Didn't work. I came back.
Where'd you try to go?
I went to Purdue for a semester. Yeah. I was going to be a veterinarian, which is like polar opposite of what I do right now.
That's fair. She does like dogs, though.
I do. Michael doesn't. But anyways, so yeah, I just tried to find something to do. I always liked real estate. I always liked, you know, all those like DIY shows, et cetera, et cetera. But when it came down to it, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try flipping a house. Just took a risk. Did it. Liked it. And then I thought about being an agent for so long. But I was like, can I actually do it? Which is a really weird thing to ask yourself. But that's where eventually I became a TC. And then it just, from there.
So with starting as a TC, how do you think that helped your ability to become a real estate agent once you got in the game, or do you think it hurt it? Or kind of fill us in on that situation of going from transaction coordinator into an agent, as we're about to see Wada and Lauren do.
I think it literally took me from starting at a complete zero to starting at least like 80% of the way there. So coming from like restaurants and stuff, I already had skills with people. But when it came to the contracts themselves, terminology, how does real estate actually work, I had no idea any of that. So being in that spot where I'm watching the agents every single day come in, make calls.
Me.
He's one of them, yes. But make calls, listening to their conversations, and starting to understand how to sell real estate. I think that's where just my confidence was really low. Was like, okay, I know how to sell things. I know how to talk to people, and these forms and stuff like that, anybody can really learn that, but to get in with somebody and actually be able to talk to them to a point where they're going to trust you with one of probably the biggest assets they're going to have in their life, that's where I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
That is a little intimidating looking at it. You're like, oh my God, you're going to trust me as a blank-year-old to sell your $300,000 house or your $1 million house. Like, it's a ton of pressure when you first get into it, and then you realize, you know, that $1 million house is just like the $100,000 one you sold last week. I mean, it's real estate. You know, it's pretty much all the same. So you said that you were, you know, throwing around the idea of getting into real estate and becoming an agent after your first flip. How has it been going to a 100% commission pay structure?
I feel like it's more motivating because if you don't do the work and you don't keep making phone calls, etc., you don't get paid because you don't get just free listings or free buyers that come up to you and are like, oh, list my house. Like, you have to do a lot of stuff and awareness and all that kind of stuff just to get people to understand what your position is. But then for them to also, like I said, trust you and know like what you're doing, if that even makes sense, I guess. But
yeah, no, it makes sense. And, you know, I think with like a regular job, you know, on a Friday, you can just come in and cash it in and still get paid. Where real estate, it's like, yeah, you can not work Friday, but then, like, you're not moving your business, you're hurting yourself, and you're going to see that, you know, decrease here in 30 to 90 days.
Yeah, that's so true. Which it's a double-edged sword, and there's such a learning curve of how do you
stay
business.
Consistent? Yeah,
consistency, but also like balance. I'm married, I have family, I have friends. I'm still young enough to still want to go do things in life. So, you know, still having like fun, family, you know, spouse time, but also, you know, working as much as I can too, and trying not to let one bleed too much into the other. That's hard to learn.
I gotcha. I feel like it's really hard in real estate. So what do you consider work in real estate? Because, like, for me, my definition of work in real estate is honestly the 8 to 10 a.m. dials is the actual work part, and everything else I personally don't see much as actual work. So what's kind of your definition of work in real estate, or like work-life balance?
Yeah, I would say I agree with you coming into the office from 8 to 10, but it's more, I mean, we do a lot of, depending how busy you are, you have a lot of drive time. You have,
I just jam out. I'm like,
I know, but still, once again, that's time. I guess more so just the time that you're allocating and putting towards real estate, which can be a phone call at 7 o'clock at night when you're sitting on the couch with your significant other just to talk a buyer through a situation or update somebody or whatever. I mean, there's going to be, it's not structured, which is why I think it's harder to find that balance, is because you don't just say, okay, I'm clocking in from 9 to 5. After that, my time and my effort is all towards this person or this thing. It's more of like I have to learn how to still take calls while I'm with my significant other. It's still be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's a balance. I mean, it's a balance, and
Yeah,
it's tough
hard.
because it's a lot of gray area with real estate. Because the way I see it is like, you know, we're sitting here watching a movie. Like, why does it matter if I shoot an email off real quick on my phone or take this phone call for 20 seconds? Like, it's one of those things where personally I don't see it as work, but everybody else in the world does.
That's
like
true.
when I went to my bowling trip, I was like taking phone calls on the lift right up. And they're like, Michael, did you do? And I'm like, it's not work. It's just a quick phone call.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, that's the nice part. You can either work as little or as much as you want. And if you want to, I mean, I guess what I've learned is that you can set, 8 o'clock and after I'm not going to talk to anybody. Or, you know what I mean? So you can set things for yourself and you can go as hard as you want and get as much business as you want. Just know you're going to probably need and allocate more time for it. And you can pull off the pedal if you want to. So that's kind of the nice thing, is that you got that, like, free time.
If you're a new agent, just work 24/7 your first year. Well worth it.
I mean, yeah, I don't disagree.
I think to start off, it's just like anything else. When you first start off, you have to grind your face off and just do it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily even suck. Like, I enjoyed it, but I mean, last year I worked way less than I did the year before that in my first year.
Yeah.
But I think that first year is super important to, like, get your name out there. Who are you? Have a track record. That way your second year, then you can say, boom, this is what I did, or I've sold a house like this, or you can reference other deals, and it really makes those people feel comfortable, especially as a new agent.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the latest you've taken a phone call, Erica?
I'd say, like, between 10 and 10:30. I mean, it's not terrible. Maybe even later than that, technically, because it had to do with an offer, though. So, I mean, that always is, like, exciting. I'm ready for that phone call. But I would say, like, just a normal client, like, between 8 and 9 is probably the latest I usually would talk to somebody.
I think my latest one was on an offer, and it was 11:15, and I was laying in my bed while I was talking to them.
Really?
Yes, I was laying there with my eyes shut, just on the phone.
Was it accepted?
Yeah, we ended up getting accepted.
Of
It was a terrible deal, though. Almost made me quit real estate. But, and I thought it was going to be quick, but it was like the listing agent called me, and I had to call my client, and I had to call the listing agent, and I had to call my client again, and me and my client talked for like 20 minutes. So it was like an hour long phone call of me laying in my bed.
Yeah, just ready to,
Yep, I was like, I am so tired. Let me go to bed. So you've been in for 6 months. What has been your volume for those first 6 months?
So I've been in for like 8 months now.
Oh, 8 months.
Okay, just saying. But so at the 6-month mark, I did like 2.3 million, and then ending the 2022 year, I did a little over 3 million.
Which is 8 months, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think helped you get out to such a fast start? And a lot of those deals, were they sphere deals, or was it like, just boom, like leads that came in, or where did you get that business from, and how were you able to get off to such a hot start?
A lot of it came from Facebook.
Okay.
So I guess technically sphere, but not people that I always talk to, like, day in and day out. So I just did a huge... Actually, Facebook, I have a problem with you right now, though, because when I was making all these messages, you didn't allow me to send so many. I could only send so many in a day. So over, like, the span of a week or two, I just individually messaged every single person that I was friends with, which was several hundred people, and just let them know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Hope you and yours as well. But if you or anybody you know is looking to buy or sell in real estate, I just appreciate the chance to interview for your business. And I got 2 people right off the bat. One was a buy-sell and one was a buy. And then I had a friend's mom who I was talking to her, and that one came up. She was like, yeah, we're ready. And I was like, score. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that I knew that timing-wise it helped, but also because I actually reached out. It's scary reaching out to people, like, from high school and stuff that you never
You're like,
talked
hey,
to.
I haven't talked to you in like 12 years, but
Yeah.
how's it going?
How's it going? Yeah, I mean, I try to personalize it as much as possible. That's the nice thing about Facebook, is you can just see what's going on with people.
Oh, so you weren't even like copy-paste. You were like in-depth.
I copy-pasted the majority of the message, but, like, for a lot of people, I know they either got married or they had a kid or whatever. You know, I just kind of look at their Facebook profile really quick again and just refresh, like, oh, yeah, that's right, they just had a baby or whatever, and just kind of threw that in there.
Gotcha. So question, with you coming up on 8 months, you're coming up on a year. Do you think you will break the record-defying rookie number of Michael Wiss on the McAfee Home Group of $4.82 million?
I'm going to do everything I can to do that.
Then you got to get Rising Star with it. I mean, it's
I know.
It's a pop 1-2 combo.
It is. But you know what? We still have some time left, and it's definitely doable.
You got 4 months.
I got 4 months, so it's totally doable, and I'm coming for you, Michael Wiss.
I would never live that down if she beats my 4 point. I hope you do. I truly hope you do.
I actually looked up this statistic. Are you ready? I looked up this number. So from the time I started in May to the end of the year, and when your numbers from May to the end of the year, you only beat me by $165,000. Just FYI. That's one house, okay? So it was pretty close for the time I've been in the game. We were right there.
I mean, it's one of those things.
I just had to throw that in there to throw you off the guard.
It doesn't throw me off. I can't get phased in here, but I hope you do beat it. We'll see. Time will tell here in 4 months. We'll do a follow-up.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
I mean,
see how happy you really are.
$1.82 million. I mean, that's quite the number. And then I got to worry about Wada coming in, and
I know she's gonna be killing it.
I'm under fire, people. I'm under fire.
Yeah. Competition. It's real.
So what's your goal going into kind of your first full year of real estate? I know we do goals. So what's that goal that you're shooting for this year in real estate?
So I set for the 2023 year, I set my goal as $4.5 million. So the first year it was $2 million. I've obviously done that, which I'm very proud of. But
it was $3 million.
No, it was $2 million that I set a goal for.
Oh,
but
okay.
I've had $3 million so far. So obviously, I just didn't know what to expect when I set my goals last year. So with hitting at least between obviously 3 and 4 million, I was like 4.5. I feel like I could do that. So that's what I set that wise, but also more consistency with like content and ramping that up.
She has been crushing it on TikTok. She's on my For You page all the time. And I'm like, Erica, what are you doing here?
I know, and you're probably like, look at that chick. Look at that weirdo.
I always forget to like. I'm like, oh, I should like that. And then I forget to like it.
That's actually so rude. Come on, Michael.
To be fair, I don't like anything unless I want to save it for my likes on TikTok. So I try to keep that clear.
But there's a difference. You can like things and you can save things. So you could just like things to be nice, and then you could actually save the videos you want to save.
I didn't know that. So...
Well, there's a little tidbit for you today.
So, 4.5 million, and then more social media. Any other goals that you're really looking for in 2023? Personal or business? Making your own laundry detergent?
Oh yeah, I am doing that. But I guess I'm trying to. People are gonna judge. It's fine. I am trying to be a little bit more conscious of how. Like chemicals and stuff in my house. So I am going to be making my own like laundry detergents, hand soaps, dishwasher soap. We'll see how they actually go. I already hear my husband complaining about how inefficient they are. But
so are you going to be recording that, or are you just doing... Okay.
Yeah.
Where can people find you at to watch those?
I'm on TikTok, but that one is more real estate. But definitely going to be on Instagram. So, I don't know my Instagram real name. I'd have
It's
to
all
look
right.
it
We'll
up.
drop it
Okay, we'll
right
drop it.
there. So if you want to go watch her make laundry detergent, dish soap, and what
It's
other
a lot of food prep,
crazy
all that kind of
things.
stuff too, because I'm a food nut too. So, good recipes though. I got good food.
We'll see. We have our party on Saturday here.
Oh,
She's making
it's gonna
something.
impress.
We'll see. We
You
will
liked the
see.
mac and cheese last time?
I did.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, let's get back on topic
All right,
here.
sorry.
So, what was your biggest surprise getting into real estate? Like once you start, like that you saw from the outside, and then once you became an agent, you're like, oh my god, I did not know this, or like this is not how I thought it went. Anything like that that really kind of shocked you?
It's easier than you think it's gonna be.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy but I think I just built it up in my head that it was going to be harder than I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, as long as you just communicate with everybody, you work to find out information that you just don't know, and get advice, I feel like you are going to be a good agent, but you're also going to have a smoother transaction. I don't know. I was just so surprised how much easier things felt than what I had chalked them up to be in my head.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely understand that. So, as a new agent, do you show buyers who aren't pre-approved houses, or how does your process work with buyers?
Yeah, no. So usually, obviously, we qualify them, figure out what they want, etc. But I do line them up with a lender to get them pre-approved so that we can also work off of what can you guys actually afford, what's in your budget, where do you want to be, and just keep nailing down farther and farther into what they're looking for and what they can get for that. You can really run yourself, but mainly your buyer's ragged if they're not pre-approved, and then you're just running them around town. There's been one person that I've shown a lot of houses to, okay? It was 17 houses.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a lot. But to be fair, she really just didn't know what she wanted. She was pre-approved, to be fair. But it was more of they'd been renting for such a long time and they just didn't know. She wanted big, but realistically they needed smaller.
Their budget was smaller.
No, their budget was good. Yeah, they had a great budget, but they kept they were just going back and forth with a lot, and eventually we found it, but it was just more of what they thought they wanted wasn't what they needed.
Yeah, and I run into that a lot, and that's why I do the driveway powwow.
Yes.
What's wrong with this one? But it is tough when, like, especially if a couple or something like that aren't on the same page and they're just, like, both out in left field on the complete opposite end, and you're like, how do we bridge this together here?
Right, yeah. And to be fair, that was my very first buyer, okay? And it was my friend's mom, so I knew her really well. So I think for me, it was learning how to put those boundaries on her.
The clamps. Clamp them down.
How to clamp them down. I felt like a crap. Anyways, so in that retrospect, I wouldn't do it any different just because I think that helped me going forward.
Yeah, learn what to do. Mm-hmm. So you've worked with buyers, you've worked with sellers. How do you like being a listing agent compared to a buyer's agent? Which one do you like more? Which one, everybody's got a little bit of preference.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have a fair judgment yet. I've only really been in a seller's market as an agent, so I feel like it's been a little bit, I don't want to say it's easy because it's not, but it's been more favorable to be a listing agent just with so many people, and at least the types of homes that I have listed have been pretty hot commodities. So it's felt nice kind of having the leg up. But even my buyers, I haven't disliked working with buyers at all. It's more of just, we've probably seen a few houses, or there's been a couple that have seen more houses, just because we've had to put more offers out because theirs weren't getting accepted.
Yeah, it's a lot more time consuming working with the buyers. But I do think the end goal, 9 times out of 10 is like, it's a lot more feel good when you, like, a lot of times it's a lot more feel good when you, like, get those first time home buyers to the table and they're pumped and hyped and stuff like that. So it does. They both got their pros and cons.
Yeah. And instead of, when you accept an offer, it's exciting. It's like, woo, yay. But when you get the call that's like, whatever you put in, what you structured your buyers to understand and to put in. And when that is the one that gets pulled, you're like, yes!
Yeah.
So
You're like,
excited.
I'm better than you, and you. You suck.
Right, especially if you know that there's multiple other offers. It feels so good to be able to be like, we got it for you. And, that phone call is like...
It's money.
I know.
I always try to start, especially if they've lost out on a couple, I always say, hey, how's it going? Yeah, just heard back from the agent. Or offer got accepted.
I do that.
I do that.
No,
On some clients. It depends on, like, the dynamic with the
Yeah.
client. I mean, you know how that is sometimes.
That's
You're
true.
more like buddy-buddy, and other times it's like business.
That's so true. Yep.
But, yeah. So, what made you go the team route rather than the single agent route?
One, just being an admin for a team. I think I saw, but I could also hear stories about other agents that had started as a single agent and where they were versus people on the team. Honestly, gross. I'm going to give you some props here.
I'm going to love every minute of this.
But seeing how many deals you had done, and obviously to have the sales behind that was awesome. But honestly, it's more about how many deals you're getting. Because I feel like in my first couple of years, it's not, even though obviously I want to compete sales-wise, but I feel like the more deals you do, the more experience you get, the more things that go great or go horrible, and you got to filter through it with your clients, yourself, the other agent. And I feel like that growing opportunity is more of what I was looking for. So,
yeah, I feel like too many agents look at, like, what money they're going to make. It's like, your first couple of years, don't even think about that. Like, you wouldn't have, like, and the way I put it is, like, I would rather have, 50% of one deal than 0% of zero deals.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it is what it is. You're going to do more deals. So I think it's always a fantastic thing. Why the McAfee Home Group?
Man, we got this listing package, and it's just...
No. Why did you pick the McAfee Home Group?
That's why. No. It's kind of a funny story. So I used to flip houses, and the real estate agent that I was using at the time, she ended up moving to Keller Williams. And so she kept pushing me. She's like, you'd be a great agent. And once again, I was just like, I don't know if I want to yet. And so when I did, actually before I even did that, I told her that I was going to be looking for an admin position, and she was actually going to have me do it for herself, but that didn't end up working out, and she ended up sending me Jake's, I don't remember if it was a post or something, just saying like, hey, I'm looking for an admin. So she connected us, and then...
Did he blow you off like he blew off Stacy 3 times?
No. But man, I was so nervous. I could tell he was very like, no. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to do that with that. Like, all I know is sounds. I don't even know a word for that right now. But yeah, I was like, this is the type of person I need. And then after being on the team, like I said, just experiencing in the room with Stacy and Jake and Michael and just the other agents at the time, it was just the bond. Everybody gets along and supports each other, answers questions. I was like, this is something I want to be a part of.
I like it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, my original interview with Jake was scheduled for 15 minutes, and we went for an hour because I just knocked his socks off.
Oh my god!
I'm not amazing, but got to plug myself here a little bit.
Can I tell you a secret?
Let's hear it.
So when I was sitting there with Jake, when he was interviewing me, he was telling me all these things that he wanted to do, and all I could think in my head was like, I'm not good at that. But I was like, yep, I can do that.
We got this.
Sure
Yep, that's me.
But because I told him I was good at all this stuff, I was like, I gotta figure this out. This is gonna push me to be like, get good at what I'm bad at.
Yeah, and I think being on a team really helps with that because you have that competitive edge of like, I'm going to outcall you, and I'm going to outcall you, and I'm going to outcall you. And then, you get that competition going, and it pushes you a lot further than if I was sitting at home on my couch or in my home office making phone calls. Like, this sucks.
Yeah,
so having that team environment is really nice. So how was the transition from Keller Williams to Century 21?
It was abrupt, but
It was. Jake literally texted us at like 8:30 and was like, we're switching to Century 21. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, we knew it was in the works, but like, he was like, oh, it'd be a couple months, and then boom.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, here we go. This is what we're doing. But overall, at least being here, I like it. I haven't seen really anything that I don't like. I get a lot of emails, but that's okay. Other than that, I feel like there's a lot of support, questions that get answered. It's nice to have like staff here every day that's just kind of like I said, helpful. It's also just smiley, like it's an environment you walk into, like the office feels there's
warm
people here and warm, yeah. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's going good.
Awesome. Well, to wrap it up here, Erica, what is one piece of advice or one thing that you think a new agent or somebody who's about to get licensed should know before they jump into the world of real estate?
Highly consider a team. Don't look at the money aspect like we talked about. Just weigh out the pros and cons of what you're going to get experience and knowledge-wise, and I feel like that's going to answer it for you. Awesome. I love it. Well, Erica, I appreciate you jumping on the pod today. Super excited to see what you do in your first full year, and yeah, thank you for stopping by. All right, thank you.